certified professional mediator, and currently the executive director at the African Council for Accreditation and Accountability. Winnie, karibu sana. You may say one or two things before I proceed.
But it's such a pleasure to be here. It's wonderful to spend this evening together. I look forward to it. I look forward to being energized by those that are on, and just glad to be here again with the juniors. Thank you.
Lovely. Thank you, Winnie. So just once again to welcome our junior women on board members. Just to refresh our minds a little bit, I'll talk about the Greater Women on Board and focus a little bit on the Junior Women on Board. The Greater Women on Board is a non-profit initiative whose focus is to champion and promote diversity and inclusion on boards. When we come to the Junior Women on Boards, the main objective is to impact our younger members with skills and knowledge as they go through adulthood and try to navigate the corporate and the working world, with the ultimate goal of excelling in their individual capacities. So we'll take this webinar as an opportunity for us to have an insightful and engaging conversation where we can share experiences, find possible solutions, and just generally try to see how best in our individual ways we can navigate the corporate world. So I can see we have good participation. So far, we're about 30 members within the webinar, and I hope we'll have more people joining as we carry along. So without further ado, our topic for today's webinar is Awakening the Giant Within. We are looking at finding ways and having a discussion around decoding the confidence code and finding your voice in challenging situations. Sorry, please kindly, can we mute all our microphones? I will allow Winnie to start off the session today as our main speaker. Karibu, Winnie. I will give an opportunity for questions and answers at the end. So I would request for now, let's listen to Winnie. In case you have anything you may want to ask, the chat box is open. So feel free to leave one or two comments or ask questions. We will respond after her session. Welcome, Winnie.
Thank you so much. And it's such a joy to be back with you today and just to walk through what it means to awaken the giant within us, what it means to decode the confidence code. And the interesting thing is that the things that we need for us to be able to express ourselves in a way that exhibits confidence are very common, everyday things. And so what we're going to do is just review the things that are lost to us in life as we get about the busyness of life, as we get up under the layers of the things that erode our confidence. Because the things that carry on from day to day, operational issues in workspaces, mundane routines in school, mundane sociological experiences come to cloud and to cover and to create layers that suppress and oppress our confidence. So we're going to be doing an uncovering of those layers so that we can be able to rebuild our confidence, so that we can remind ourselves what is it that we need to do and continue doing so that our confidence is top-notch. So wherever we are at, whether you're a junior member in terms of your age demographics, or you're an older member, these things work across the board. So tidbits number one is learn something new every day. You must be a learning personality. You must be a learning individual. There's something about knowledge that energizes. When you get to know something new, it awakens something in your brain that causes you to feel a sense of new worth. And so you want to cultivate and expand that space of new worth and new value to yourself from day to day. So learn. If you're not learning, if you're not growing in your knowledge, you're not building the confidence platform or the confidence acreage in your brain. You want to expand the confidence acreage in your brain so that your brain is always excited and always moving forward and always yearning for the next thing. The interesting thing about new knowledge is that it causes you to want to tell somebody. When you know or discover something new, you want to talk about it. And that just grows your level of confidence. And when you know something and you're certain about it and you talk about it, the feeling that it gives your mind in terms of self-worth and in terms of value to self causes you to move your confidence level a notch higher. And so we decode knowledge, yeah? And we include that in our bag of confidence builders. The other thing is getting clear on what matters to you. Getting clear on what is your mission and your purpose. Getting clear about what you enjoy and what you don't. And it's very helpful to have a notebook that you're able to script. What's valuable to me? What energizes me? What do I want to give my time to? And what do I not want to give my time to? And then build around the things that matter to you. Don't leave other people's dreams or be an extension of other people's confidence. Be your own confidence. Be authentic to self. Figure out what matters to you. And then, pursue that and pursue it unreservedly and passionately. The other thing is common, yet it so eludes us. And it's celebrating both small and big wins. If you do achieve something, however small, celebrate yourself. Give yourself brownie points. Give yourself a pat on the back. Find someone who loves you, who cares about you, who's bothered and excited. Find your tribe of people. I keep talking about my tribe of girls. I have a friend called Sally who talks about her tribe of girls. This is not tribe in terms of vernacular, but your tribe, those people who are your heartstrings, the ones that, know what you're thinking before you say, look for them and high five yourself for the little achievements and the big achievements. The other one is network with people. Networking sounds also grown up and also women on boards, seniorish. It isn't. It's just coming into spaces of other young people or even older people who you can learn from, who you can pick information from, who you can exchange thoughts from, or you can just listen to. Yeah. So there's so many pockets of networking events, even online, networking communities that you can identify. When you learn what we said in point number 2 above, what matters to you, begin to look for communities of people who you can network with along those lines of interest. The other tidbit is remove negativity from your life. Remove negativity from your life. Nobody wakes up every morning to make your day. Only you do that for yourself. And so if you don't, no one else is doing it for you. Everybody else is waking up to do good things or to do positive things or to add value to number one. And that's them. So you remove negativity because there will be different classes, qualities, caliber, standards of people who, for whatever is going on in their ecosystem, are just salty. I remember my son was having a conversation with a friend of his. They're having a thing going tonight. They have a life group and they energize each other, and they've met together since they were 7 years old. They're now 14, 15. And I remember one of them saying, taste this or do this. And then another one reacted in a way that wasn't very positive. And this young man says, you know what? That's really salty. You're being really salty. And he said, no, I'm not being salty. It just is what it is. He says, no, you're not being salty. You need to be sugar. And I was like, I like that. I'll pick that for me. So get rid of salty from your life and intentionally look for sugar and work with sugar and keep sugar around you. Nobody else will do that for you except you, because nobody wakes up in the morning to make life the most beautiful experience for you. They're too busy with what concerns them with number one. So you make life sugar. You get rid of salt. Get rid of salty people. Get rid of salty thoughts in your mind. Identify what's salty in your own being, in your own mind, in your own ecosystem. Is your bedroom salty? Do you walk in there and you feel tired because the bed is not spread, the windows are not open, there's no fresh air going round? That's salty. Yeah, just a little extra adds sugar and flavor, and you can create sugar around your life. So get rid of negativity, get rid of salty, and grow sugar in your life. The other thing, and this works so well for junior members, because you've got the benefit of energy and life on your side, and that's hit the gym. Gym in quotes. It could be choosing to walk, run, whatever level of exercise, whatever you do, get moving, keep moving. Yeah. Because when you do that, it brings into your brain, or it wakens in your brain, neurons that are feel-good neurons. Yeah. It's a very easy way of boosting your confidence. When you feel good about yourself, when the oxygen levels have been increased in your brain, and you're alert, you're alive. Yeah. There's a saying we used to say, I'm awake, I'm alert, I'm alive, and you just keep saying it to yourself, and your brain catches up with it. Now, if you're doing that and you're walking and you're increasing your oxygen levels and there is excitement going on around you, it does something to boost your confidence levels. Your level of fitness has a lot to do with your levels of confidence. When you're not feeling very good about yourself, when your body is really feeling dragged and lethargic, it doesn't matter. It does matter how much you know, but it doesn't matter that much when you're tired, you're stretched, you're stressed, and just getting in routine movement makes such a difference. So it's amazing. Exercise does so much for boosting self-confidence and decoding this complexity called confidence. Yeah, that sometimes, like we said in the beginning, gets buried under the rubble of mundane everyday routines. The other one is just doing one thing that makes you smile. How simple is that? What are the things that make you smile? And that goes together with another tidbit, which I learned to do from our youngest son. They had something called a gratitude journal. And what they used to do, or what the school made them do, was to write down 20 things you are grateful for every day. And with each day, you had to look for 20 new things that were not in the previous 20 or the previous 20 or the previous 20. So you can imagine, by the time you get through 30 days of writing 20 new things that you're grateful for, I mean, these children's minds were completely transformed. And so what they sometimes would be given is a problem situation, and they'd be asked to do 20 things they're grateful for. One of them that really struck me was when they were told, your house caught fire while you were sleeping, and you all managed to get out of the house with nothing else but your pajamas. Write 20 things you're grateful for. I mean, by the time I was done saying, I'm grateful that my family is all out, I'm grateful that the neighbor's house didn't get fire, I'm grateful that, you begin thinking, I wonder how many of us would have 20 things to be grateful for. Now, when I read this young man, and by then he was all of 8 years old, I read the journal. He had about 30 things. And they included things like, I'm grateful that the fire did not catch the sky, so there could be clouds and the rain could come down and stop the fire. I was like, geez, you need a whole nother paradigm to think like that. But it had come from months on end of being trained to think differently about issues to be grateful for. I mean, I remember them saying, I'm grateful that the neighbors have an extra set of clothes that they could give to us because we have been doing 1, 2, and 3 with them. I'm grateful that we have good relationships with our neighbors. I'm grateful that the school did not burn, so we can still go to school. I'm grateful that I have great friends. If I showed up in jammies, it would be okay. I mean, you know, this is an 8-year-old. And the list went on and on and on. Your confidence is built against the backdrop of your gratitude. When you're grateful for small things, it opens up your eyes to possibilities. It opens up your eyes to what you have going, yeah? And it eliminates the sense of what is not going right. And no one can take that away from you. No one can shake, you know, your levels of confidence when you know the things that you have that you're grateful for. So keep a gratitude journal. Do 20 things you're grateful for. Challenge yourself. It has a way in which it works on your psyche. And what embeds in your psyche, immediately you see a problem situation, is solutions. Lacking solutions or lacking a solutions mentality takes away from your confidence because you're disempowered and disabled by the inability to deal with the challenge before you. But when you train and build capacity in your mind to see a thing and see gratitude and see possibilities and solutions, it just shoots your confidence, you know, and it skyrockets way up. And around that gratitude comes a positive mindset, comes now being able to build a positive ecosystem and even influence those who are salt around you so that they can become sugar. The other tidbit, and there's so much in here. I'm not going to go through all of them. I had like 100 of them, but we can be doing them in bits and pieces, and we can have the Juniors Club, you know, just send out a tidbit every so often to your email or to a WhatsApp chat if you're involved in one. So I'll stop so that we can have conversations. But the other one is listen to what you say to yourself. Are you talking yourself up or are you talking yourself down? It doesn't matter what the situation is, how good or how bad the situation is. If you talk yourself down, your brain immediately clamps and begins to think negativity, fear, dread, threat, run, you know? So are you talking yourself up or are you talking yourself down? That's so important in, you know, building into your confidence code. And the other one is to laugh at yourself. When you make mistakes, don't feel embarrassed to the point that you do not want to face the world. I mean, have the capacity to look and say, that was silly. I should have thought about 1, 2, and 3. Now I know what doesn't work. Now I know a way not to do this. And so let me think around this and see how that works. You know what that does to you and to everybody around you? It gives a sense of self-confidence, and it also builds the confidence of everyone else around you. Because they begin to think, oh man, that could have been me. Geez, what would I have done with that? And when you give them a lifeline of confidence by lifting yourself up, you lift them up too. So it works not just for you, it works for the environment around you. You influence the environment around you. To err is human, but to recover is divine, because many people keep going under because they don't know how to recover. Learn how to recover. Step one in recovering from mistakes is just learning to laugh at yourself and say, okay, yeah, that just didn't go right. That right there is a nada, like silly mistake, agreed. Let's do this. Let's find out how we can rise from the ashes, and then put everyone at ease about your mistake so that they also learn to be at ease about their mistakes, admit them, and pick themselves up from that. I think I'll probably give us like 2 or 3 more, and then we'll open it up to more engagements. When we talked about don't put yourself down, listen to what you're saying, don't also let others put you down. Nobody has the right to talk you down, tear you down, pull you down, or down you on anything for that matter. No one has that permission unless you let them. By feeling what they say and aligning to what they say. And when you do that, you become their slave. But you don't know where they're coming from when they're saying that. Maybe they want what you have. Maybe they quite admire your confidence. And so, to put you down in a bid to try and bring themselves up, you coming down does not help them. So don't let people put you down. That doesn't mean be obnoxious and stubborn. It just means choosing to know yourself enough to not go with the flow on put downs and let downs. And then stand your ground and graciously put the facts right, graciously. Confident people don't tear down others. We don't get into cat fights. You're bigger than that. You're smarter than that. You're better than that, okay? And that helps you to do this last one that I will tell you, reveal a little bit of the real you. When you don't allow people to put you down, you reveal to them the substance that you're made of. And when they get a glimpse into the real you, it just changes the dynamics of the way that you relate and the way that you operate. I know our time is really gone. I'll give this back to Cindy and allow us to open this up for conversation. Thank you so much. I hope that there's value there that you can pick and run with. But this is just going to be another webinar unless you pick 1, 2, 3 things that you will start working on tomorrow, and you will write in your gratitude journal what will be your first step on each of those, and then follow them up and follow them through. Thank you. Back to you, Cindy.
Thank you so much, Winnie. I think that was extremely insightful. I'm sitting here and I'm also like, wow, I think tomorrow the first thing I'm going to do is also buy a gratitude journal. I think I need to start noting down all the sugary things and let go of the salty things. So I'll open up the floor for the question and answer session. I can see Marion Kago has started us off well. Maybe Marion, you can unmute your mic and tell us 1 or 2 things that you liked, that you'd love to ask, that you'd like more insight on, or you can also give us a few tips you may have. And I would request maybe you can tell us maybe your age, and a little bit of what you do. Everyone else kindly mute your microphone. Marion, over to you.
Thank you, Cindy, and thank you so much, Winnie. I think what I've learned greatly from you is being able to differentiate the salt and the sugar and the gratitude journal. That really impressed on me very well. I think from my own learnings, if I were to add something, is also being vulnerable, which you have mentioned also towards the end. You'll not always be right. And when you make a mistake, it's not the end of the world. It is so shows maturity when you are vulnerable to a mistake that you have done and say, I think this didn't go too well, and these are the lessons I have learned. Thank you so much.
Lovely. Thank you so much, Marion. I think something interesting that Winnie said when she started her discussion was uncovering the layers. I think young people generally feel, I would call it a bit contained and are afraid to show parts of themselves that could potentially benefit them, whether at that time or in future. And I think it's something worth thinking about. I'm still waiting for more questions. I would love if our 40 participants would engage us, or maybe I'll go the old school, high school way, and maybe call out 1 or 2 people and let me look for who has an interesting name.
I think David has his hand up, Cindy.
Yeah, David has his hand up.
David, over to you.
What do you think?
David, please unmute yourself.
Okay. First, a question concerning what Winnie Njenga said.
Yes.
There is this point she has talked about. She has said. Winnie Njenga said, listen to what you say to yourself. And there is this point she has talked about ups and downs. I've not got what she has meant here. There is this situation where she has talked about ups and downs. So kindly, I'm seeking for clarification there.
Winnie, over to you. Maybe you can add more
clarify. Okay, thank you, David. 2 things. One, you said the issue of ups and downs, that's picking yourself up. And then the other one is on, what was the other one? The other one was talking to yourself, listening to your thoughts. There are many times when young people and even, older people have a lot of self-doubt. We question ourselves. We question whether we are good enough, whether we are qualified enough, whether we have capacity to do the things that face us, whether we can be able to move from point A to point B. Be very careful about the thoughts, especially thoughts of doubt, that cause you to be so disempowered and so paralyzed that you cannot be able to confidently stand up and face up to what it is that you need to do. So being careful about your thoughts, being present to self, and being aware about what is your limitation in terms of your thoughts and what your thought or your mind is saying to you about yourself in a particular situation or over a particular manner. Be careful to speak positively to yourself. Your thoughts are a window into what you're telling yourself. Your mindset is a window into what you're telling yourself. So be careful, guard your mind carefully. And then the other one is picking yourself up. When things don't go right, when things go wrong, laugh at your own mistakes and acknowledge that didn't go too well. That wasn't right. That wasn't the right thing to say. That was hurtful. That wasn't very smart. And then, look at what can I do about this? How do I pick this up? Do I need to apologize? Do I need to study? Do I need to coach the way I communicate? What do I need to do? What do I learn from this? And get yourself unstuck from the mistake and move yourself forward. David, I hope that's helpful for you.
Yeah, thank you.
Alrighty, thank you.
Lovely. Thank you, Winnie, for that. I can see Edina has put in a comment. Maybe I'll just read through it. Thank you, Winnie. Those are wonderful personal development points. I especially loved the point on gratitude. Gratitude is a multiplier. It not only makes us compete by art of appreciating, but even the small things in our lives, which we otherwise take for granted, but it also attracts food to our lives. And I can see she's in solidarity with other junior members as they continue to learn. Thank you so much, Edina. I'm still waiting on more questions from other members, but in the meantime, maybe, Winnie, I can pass a question to you. I will go a little bit into myself. I am a project management specialist and I am 28 years old. But one thing I find myself struggling with, and I would assume both the older and the younger generation struggle with as well, is networking. So I think maybe you can give a bit of insight on how, people can navigate this.
Okay. So part of the challenge, the sociological hiccup in networking is, I'm going to go into a strange place, find strange people. How do I begin to speak to these strange people? But you must take that next step. And usually the easiest way to network is to go into an environment of first familiar people, and then intentionally seek to have a conversation, one-on-one conversation, because networking is not sitting being told about a product and then, yeah, we were all there and we left. Networking is building one-on-one bridges. So go into a familiar environment as your test case, right? And then intentionally don't seek to speak to this one person and then stick to them the whole night and feel your network. That's wasting good capital. That's not a good investment. So in that familiar environment, speak to at least the people that you can count on one hand. At least one-on-one. Not, hi, how are you? Okay, fine. No, intentional. Think about the environment you're going into. Think about what is going to be discussed in that space. It could be a church fellowship, a youth group. We're having Bible study, or we're doing a hike. So think about the hike, think about the place you're going to, and then intentionally speak to 5 different people. And just use open-ended questions. Hi, have you ever been able to, how long have you been able to hike, and what impact has that had on you? That's not a yes and no answer. That conversation, that requires them to speak, to have quite a bit to say. And as they're saying, the interest you both gather around this, because it's something you're both familiar about, opens up more space. And then find how to bring that conversation to a neat closure. And then thank them. Thank you so much. It's been really nice talking to you. Move to the next person. What are you doing? You are training yourself to intentionally have meaningful, timed conversations and then move to the next person. So you're doing this in a familiar setting. You're confident enough to go around the table so that when you go into an unfamiliar terrain, your brain is wired to have open-ended question, engage in a conversation, close it neatly, and move to the next person. Practice makes not permanent. Practice makes not perfect, rather. Practice does not make perfect. You still will make mistakes, but practice makes a skill permanent. The more you practice it, the more it becomes a part of who you are. So it stays with you permanently.
Thank you so much, Winnie. I can see another comment and question in the chat box, if you'll allow me to read it. It is said achievers rarely, if ever, see a problem as permanent, while those who fail see even the smallest problem as permanent. How does one not see a problem as permanent? I think this circles around what you are talking about, being salty and sugary, and probably also trying to speak positively to yourself, because I think when you see things positively, even those that are actually negative eventually do turn to become positive. So maybe you can shed more light on that.
Okay, so transferable skills. If you're able to transfer your gratitude journal and your gratitude habits to problems, then it begins to unlock, the deadlock that you have in problems. Just come at this and say, okay, this stinks. It just does not look nice, but what good could there be in this, or what good might come out of this if I do something about it? What can I do about it? Who can I speak to about this? Who can help me to get unstuck and begin to process this? So it's not always, achievers don't always achieve. They're not lone rangers. They're open to learning. They're open to teamwork. They're open to support. So when you really have a deadlock, and I find value in that, I have my coaches and my coach is, halfway around the globe in Australia. And our time zones are different. And when I get to an operational quagmire or a strategic quagmire or a policy quagmire, and I know they're sleeping, I send out a WhatsApp message, because I know when they wake up, they'll get on it. And then we'll do a Zoom and just talk through. And it just helps clear my mind. So they never tell me what to do, but they just give me, an ability to open up my mind and to perceive this thing 10 different ways. And I realize it doesn't stink as bad. There are options. We can flower this, we can change this. So, coming at it with that positive mindset of gratitude, there must be something good that can either come out of this or that can be found in this. And then perhaps bringing in people who will help you clarify if you're not able to process it yourself.
Oh, lovely. Thank you so much. I think that ties in with something you had mentioned earlier about knowledge is power, and we need to constantly be able to learn. I think, as you said, achievers are open. It takes a lot of work to become an achiever. And I think part of that is the learning process, the networking process, being open to accept mistakes and grow from them. So I think that's a very good point. I can see another comment in the chat box. I hope I'll pronounce the name correctly. This is Husna Julius. He says, thank you to the Women on Board team for organizing this very informative session. And thank you to our guest speaker for making time to speak to us. My question would be, how do you balance the different personalities that you may possess? For example, when you're an ambivert, you're okay with being on stage and taking the lead, but inherently you prefer being behind the scenes. So the conflicting personalities hold you back from pursuing some opportunities because you talk to yourself out of them. How do you work around this to ensure that you're not staying in your comfort zone too much by trying to be in the shadows instead of the limelight?
Remember your tribe? Who's your tribe? That's where they come in and they draw you out and just say, you know what? I'm talking myself out of this. I am thinking that there is this and I am wanting to bolt in a different direction. Vulnerability. Someone had shared about being vulnerable. I wish I could remember her name, but she had talked about being open and vulnerable. You must have your tribe of people. And those will tell you that, you know what? I think you've taken on too much stage time this time. And I think it's okay for you to take a step back and rest or recoup. Or they'll say, you've taken too much backstage time. This is for you. This is good for you. You have so much to offer. Get out. Let's do this. Okay? So in the same way that you use your ecosystem to get you to solve problems when you're stuck on your own, you can also reach out to your crew, your tribe, call them what you may, but that trusted inner circle of people who speak truth to power, the ones who will tell you when you've lost it, and you know it's not salty, it's real, and the ones who will celebrate with you the smallest of wins and the greatest of them. Reach out to them and just say, Jishtaki, tell on yourself, say, look, you know what, this is what's going on in my neck of the woods, and get that helping hand to get you going. Yeah. So sometimes you can resolve it on your own, those conflicts in your personality. Sometimes you need to reach out. Yeah.
Okay. Before I carry on with the questions, I would love to acknowledge one of our respected media personalities. I understand Victoria Rubediri is on the call with us. Maybe I'll let her say hi to our junior members. Victoria?
Yeah.
Victoria, I'm not sure if she's still on, but it's okay. I'll give her a chance at a later time. I can see another question in the chat from Chioma Msau. Maybe this one I can let maybe Catherine, our chair, take it. How do you keep your self-confidence up when you live in an environment of people that try to put you down? Catherine, please.
Oh my, I thought Winnie was going to answer that.
This one is for you. I promise the next one is for Winnie.
I think the one thing that I can say is that don't ever let other people define you, who you are, and how you respond to situations. So define yourself, define how you respond to situations, take them into consideration, but at the end of the day, it is about you. Because if you start reacting to what other people say, what is going to happen is you start living their life. You're actually not living your life at all, but you're living other people's lives. And I don't think that you ever want to live in anybody else's skin. The most comfortable place to be at is in your own skin. It is not in anyone else's skin. So please shy away, completely shy away from allowing other people to define who you are, from allowing other people, including how you react to situations. Somebody gets you upset, and before you think through it, you actually react to that situation. What is happening there is that they are leading you. You're not actually, thinking about issues yourself, but you're thinking about what, they sort of get, they're in charge of your brain. I was just trying to find an article that I read yesterday. And what stuck out for me in that article was this, and I want you to listen very carefully to what I'm saying, what I'm going to read for you. It says, you cannot choose circumstances, but you can control your mindset. You cannot choose your circumstances, but you can control your mindset. So be in that situation where you control your mindset. And this comes with practice, a lot of practice. This is actually about emotional intelligence, which Winnie talks a lot about. And wherever you are, at whatever stage in life, emotional intelligence is learned. It helps you with self-control. It helps you, be aware of who you are and how you react to situations. So let me just conclude by, don't live other people's lives, and you live other people's lives by letting them control how you react, how you speak. Live your own life. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Catherine. I think that was very insightful, and I think that's something, it's good food for thought and something to keep in mind as we progress and navigate this, uncertain world. Sometimes we are faced with circumstances we find very difficult. I think it's something that would help us if you took a little bit of time to think through. I think you'll go a long way. I think I'll keep the Q&A session for another 1 or 2 minutes before we close on this. So I'm looking at our young people. I would love for them to ask a few more questions. I am waiting to see questions in the chat box. I don't know why we are very quiet today. Or maybe I'll pick on someone. Emily, how are you today? Emily Kilongi, are you with us? Okay. Laura Wabomba.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Tell us something, anything that you've picked from today's session, or anything that you want to appreciate.
I really liked the second point on getting clear on what matters to you and being authentic, not living others' dreams. Yeah, I think that really spoke to me.
Lovely. Thank you so much, Laura. Let me see. Let me look for a gentleman. Let's see. I can see today it's dominated by the ladies. Gentlemen, where are you? Maybe Kimani, Cherise Kimani, you can tell us something.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
So I'm new here.
Welcome.
I'm listening and I'm happy.
Lovely. I want you to tell us something that you want the whole group to remember, so that in 20 years I can quote you.
You have your own ways of living. So you can live those ways.
Okay. How old are you, Cherise?
10.
Nice. So I hope everyone has taken note. You have your own way of living, yeah? From Cherise. In 20 years, I'll remind you about that. So I'll take this opportunity to thank all our participants and members today. Before I close off the session, I think I'll let Agnes and Catherine say one or two things. So Agnes, over to you.
Thank you, Cindy. Thank you, Winnie. You are forever. You just give me happiness when you speak. And I don't want to shy away saying we go to the same church and I benefit so much from you. Ladies and gentlemen in the house, this lady is great. Whenever you see something about Winnie, please join us. And I'm glad because she's your patron. She will work with you. Just be active in the junior membership and you will really benefit from Winnie. She's never short of resources. She's always there and amazingly, she's always willing to help. Call on Winnie anytime and she will be there for you. So thank you, Winnie, for gracing this evening. And for the junior members, we have plans for you. It is important that you share your plans on your chat. We even wanted you to have an outing. Maybe you can share with Kantai what you have so that you can have a hike, you can have something out of Nairobi or on the outskirts of Nairobi. So share ideas with Kantai so that she can make them happen. Thank you, Cindy. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Agnes. Probably before I let Catherine speak, I'll just highlight two things. I noted Edda's hand is up. Maybe Edda, I'll let you speak for a minute.
Thank you very much. And the webinar was quite informative. I'm sorry, I've just ambushed. I've remembered I wanted to ask, because one thing the presenter told us was learn something new every day. And there are many ways of learning. I was wondering if she can recommend maybe how she learns every day. Is it books? If she has interesting books that she can recommend, or ways that she really does it. Thank you very much.
Okay, before I let Winnie answer that, I think I'll let Catherine respond to this when her opportunity comes about the criteria for joining the junior membership. So Winnie, you may take the question on learning.
All right, so learning is everywhere. Learning is in interacting with people. Learning, I learn from children, young children. I learn from events that I witness, from day to day. I learn from subscriptions. I have meaningful online networks and subscriptions that I have that are periodic. There are some that give daily learnings, like or weekly learnings, like the Harvard Business Review or the Business Dailies. They're specific sports, because the online systems are a great way. So instead of going on to social media for entertainment, turn it into a learning, environment, and begin to subscribe, begin to follow, begin to link in with areas of interest that you have, so that those are consistently popping up, and they're quick reads, 2, 3, 4 sentences. Some are passages, some are links that then, you can follow through. So open yourself to learning environmentally from what's going on in your environment. Socially, individuals and people you spend intentional time with. And then literally from books in areas of interest. When you have people you're accountable to, you can ask in your area of interest, what's a good book to read? And then literally in terms of literacy is also what you plug into, what you subscribe to, what you download as an app that you constantly are getting information and feedback from. So there's so many opportunities, but those are just some of the ways in which I do my learning. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Winnie. I think in the interest of time, I will not take any more questions for today. I can see the chat has questions around registration and joining the Junior Women on Board membership. Maybe you can avail your email address and more information will be shared with you. So you'll allow me to welcome Catherine to give a few closing remarks before we officially bring the webinar to a close. Welcome, Catherine.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Cindy. Winnie, it is always so refreshing listening to you. A Friday evening, sitting at home, you just want to keep listening. And I'm sure you agree with me. Her smile is infectious, isn't it? It is awesome. It just makes you happy, Keep smiling. And she talked about it. Please keep smiling. Keep smiling. It introduces positive energy in you and positive energy to the people around you. So please, a smile a day or many smiles a day. Before I make some concluding remarks, I just want to add one thing. Please walk away from negativity. Don't be in an environment where it's negative comments, negative feelings all morning, because negative energy, negativity just drains energy out of you. So if you are at a place where everybody is telling you you can't do that, or you're too short, or you're too, I don't know what, walk away from that. That saps energy from you. And I want to share my screen so that I just leave this image with you. Kantai, if you just enable me, please enable me to share my screen. Thank you. I want you to just keep this in mind. I'm sure you can see my screen. The cat is looking into the mirror and it's seeing a lion. What matters most is how you see yourself. So go for it. Don't let people hold you back. Don't listen to negative thoughts around. Don't entertain negative thoughts. Don't listen to negative people around you. I want to thank each and every one of you for joining us today. The discussion has been amazing as usual. And as Mrs. Wanga said, we took a little bit of a dip, but we are back in action. And with Winnie as our patron, we are going places. So please watch out for emails and communication from us. Watch out for WhatsApp messages. We are going to ensure that you are kept busy and that you keep developing your leadership skills from this very early age. Thank you, Winnie. Thank you, Kantai. Thank you, Mrs. Wanga. Thank you, Cindy. Thank you, Winnie, for a great, great evening. Asante sana. May God bless each and every one of you as we leave this evening, and may you have a blessed weekend. Thank you very much. Back to you, Cindy.
Thank you so much, Catherine. Just to remind everyone, I can see the junior membership registration form has been shared in the chat. So feel free to download it And I hope by the next conversation, you will all be members. Mine is to thank all of you for joining in on this webinar. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to moderate the same. I will thank the leadership and the Senior Women on Boards Network, Catherine, Agnes, and the rest of the team, Kantai as well. And thank you so much to Winnie, our main speaker for today. And I would love to wish all of you a lovely evening, and feel free to get in touch in case you have any questions or any clarification needed. Have a good evening. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you.